Welcome to another Down the Rabbit Hole video. I'm doing a D&D themed video here because I've discovered that I'm about to try the legendary magic apple of days of yore, stories of old time. This magic apple is something that you've seen in a lot of fairy tales and all that kind of stuff, and I'm about to have some. Now, this is not actually the apple I'm going to bite into. This is a magic apple, but this is not the one. What I'm actually going to try is Quince. Specifically, this is a Quince jam that we got recently. And as soon as I saw the name, I remembered seeing a video. It might have been Skelligrim. It was one of the D&D reenactment type YouTube channels. Somebody was mentioning Quince is a fruit that had... It was a little bit like mandrake. It was an old wives' tale. It was a piece of fruit that, for whatever reason, people started to attach ideas to it. That this is a thing that you can pick off a tree. I assume they come off trees. And they give you magical powers. They give you wishes. All the things that you've seen in all the fairy tales. So when we got this Quince jam as a gift, I was just like, oh, I gotta try this because this is the magic fruit of legend, of myth, of adventure, of magic. So I'm gonna try some of this, and I figured best way to do this is in as historically maybe anachronistic as possible to make it work. My plan is to spread it on some oat cakes. These are I think Scottish oat cakes, and these have some actual history that I thought, yeah, this would be the kind of thing you could spread jam onto, right? I assume I was going to do scones, but I thought, did scones exist back in like medieval England and stuff like that? Apparently oat cakes did. Max Miller over at Tasting History did a very good video years ago about King Alfred in the 12th century, sort of creating, or the myth is that he created oat cakes. And these things are synonymous across the UK. You always have oat cakes of some type. So I thought, okay, I'm going to get some oat cakes and I'm going to spread some of the Quince jam onto there and try it out. And maybe I'll be granted a wish. Maybe I'll turn invisible. It's a magic fruit. Who knows what's going to happen? So let's try that one. So I'm very curious to even give this stuff a sniff. Really doesn't smell of anything. Quince. Okay, well, it's got a very, very light combination of preserved fruit. I mean, there's no strong smell that's coming off that thing, but let's spread some on an oat cake here. Ooh, oh man, that is thick. Okay, that is real thick. And I might as well just really triple down on it. Make sure I get a good idea of what the stuff tastes like, because I have no idea. Okay. Quince jam. Am I about to be able to take flight? I don't know. Let's find out. What is my wish? What do I want to wish for when I have this magic fruit? I'm not sure. My wish is that I survive. Let's have a go. I have no idea what that tastes like. Like marmalade and cherries were mixed together? Almost grapefruit, but not quite. No, there's almost... If there's a hint of grapefruit, it's very, very faint. Like a cherry. Figs? Yeah, kind of a little bit of the figs. Let me wet my whistle. Knowing how dry these oat cakes are going to be, I brought some proper grog with me here. Yeah, that stuff really doesn't... It's not a strong flavor. Let's give it another big dab here. It's a good thing I put on so much, because honestly, I'm not getting much of a scent of like what this flavor is. it's hardly, one could definitely not accuse it of being overpowering. It's almost non-existent. It's mainly just cherries. That's the only thing I can get. Although, anyone have on a regular basis the Peak Friends cookies? You know, the classic cream cookie, and it's always got that little bit of jam in the center. So that jam, but toned way down, is roughly what this tastes like. Now that could also be the oatcake talking, so let's try it. Just on its own. This magical knife is not going to do me any damage here. Yeah. The Peak Friend cookie jam center, that's about the only thing I can say that tastes like. The ingredients just mention local quince and sugar. Not a heck of a lot else. They do have a warning here about it may contain traces of nuts or gluten or wheat, you know, to kind of cover themselves in case anybody with a food allergy hits it. But, and I do have a nut allergy, so I'm taking a little bit of a chance on that. But honestly, I'm not aware of any really strong flavor coming off that. The best I can do is a little bit of cherry and that jam in the center of the Peak Friend cookie. That's about it. I mean, it's not unpleasant, but if you were to have a jar of that and a jar of, I don't know, any jam, raspberry jam or marmalade or anything like that on the table, the other jams and marmalades would be way more popular, I'm guessing, way more enjoyable because they have a more punchy flavor. This is very weak, not bad. I'm not giving it trouble or anything, but it's hardly as magical as I was expecting, so not to worry. Well, I guess I'm just going to have to head out into the enchanted forest again and find something even more magical. So, I'm going to leave it there. So until next time, we'll see you down the rabbit hole, and cheers.